Yo, what's up guys? Walt here. Okay, so I tried recording this on my phone, but my phone died like 4 times in a row. So I want this video to be a reflection of what went wrong and what went right on yesterday's recording. So a couple things. Number one, this is like a top 10 list. Number one, my music conducting, coming from a world of MIDI, which means like computer synthesis and making my, like fake instruments. Coming from that world and then jumping into conducting and working with real musicians was way over my head. I tried studying conducting before we recorded. I learned more in that 1 4-hour recording session than I could have learned in 3 months, 3 semesters at a school, or reading every music conducting course in the world. So that's the first thing, that my conducting was bad, and that's going to improve, and it's going to improve a lot in a couple weeks, because I've already, got most of it figured out, and a good foundation to build upon. Second thing, okay. So I said here, I'm so used to MIDI. That's true. Third thing, we're going to improve each week. Okay, I mentioned that. The fourth thing is that most of the time spent as one person on having to write the music, to arrange it, and then to kind of engrave it, and then you have to pick the location. You got to, pick the musicians and try and create rapport and trust with them. So once all that kind of comes together, by the time that it's all said and done, it's like months in the making for just like one recording. So the hardest part of this whole thing of recording that video yesterday was in having to just do it, was just having to spend the weeks and weeks of getting the camera operators and trying to find the musicians and meeting them and creating rapport with them and trust with them, so they could feel that they can come out and work for you. And it's like, I didn't really know a whole lot of musicians here in Philadelphia, so it was just a lot of work. And I'm glad I did it, and I think it worked out very well. And yes, it can be improved, but overall I think things went splendidly. Yes, the last 30 seconds of yesterday's recording fell apart badly, but that all falls on me. My conducting was bad. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too, kind of in the same realm, is that my music engraving was bad. Now, if you don't know what music engraving is, that's the idea of like when you write a piece of music physically on a piece of paper, when you put that onto a music stand, the engraving is like the way that a trumpet player should be able to read it at its easiest level. Like you want to separate the measures of the music correctly so they can read it. There's bar numbers, there's ties and legato and staccato, legato, staccato. So there's a lot there. And my engraving, again, I tried getting it beforehand and I just wasn't kind of learning it well enough. And then when I got there in person, the musician said, no, you got to do this. This will help us. This will help us. And I'm like, yes, that is totally it. So already my music engraving, the conducting, now we got the team going, the team of the camera operators, the musicians, even myself. You got the hall, the location that we shot at there. I now have a business relationship with them, which is kind of cool, a little rapport. And so I think the hardest part was trying to just get it going. So the other thing that people don't realize, and I think it's good for me to reflect on this so that I have an archive catalog of how to improve and each day get better. But the other thing is that all the musicians and even me and the camera operators, that was literally the very first 10 minutes of us meeting each other. It was, they walk in, hello, I'm Walt, hello, I'm blah blah blah, and we just went at it, and a lot of mistakes were made, and that's awesome, because I think it's important to fail upwards. I don't like this idea of people. I mean, it's fine to a point, but I think it gets ridiculous that when you record something, you wait until it's perfect to upload it, and I think that takes away the human element, because humans just by their nature are not perfect. Our skin isn't perfect. We got our skin's imperfect. You know, hair is imperfect. Just, you know, my point being is that when you make things perfect, you take away that human element and that authenticity. So I think it was good to upload the video with all of its mistakes and not edit that part out. I really wanted to keep that up there because what I want to do is 2 years from now, I want to look back at that and I want to get embarrassed by it. I think that's a very comfortable place to be in for me because I think if I went back in 2 years, I mean, for one, if I over edited it or we reshot it 10 times or, you know, a number of things that we could have done to make it look better, I don't really know if that would have been the better choice because if you spend more time recording the video, then you have less content to upload and then you're not learning as fast. I think you just got to do it, you know, mess up, upload, take notes, and push your ego aside. I'm waiting for someone to like jump out of here, and you know, like no one's going to jump out of there, but I'm waiting for someone to jump out there of the window. So I think it's important to push your ego aside and to just stand there like that, you know, as if like the emperor has no clothes kind of thing. Like, just, yeah, this is who I am. I'm embarrassed at the way I conducted, but I would be more embarrassed if I wasn't myself. And, you know, without getting too, you know, intense or philosophical, I think part of me being myself is that I'm a human and I'm not perfect. I don't even talk perfect. You can see I just stuttered. So that was our first time meeting. The other thing too that I took notes on is that the camera operators didn't understand. Oh my God, what the, ouch. That was weird. Okay, it's stuck. Ouch. Okay, so anyway, the camera operators didn't know who was playing when. Not that they should. For one, I don't know if they can read music, but they didn't have the music in front of them. And two, I'm the conductor. I know, I wrote the piece. I know everything that's happening. So we're not planning shots. We're just literally run and gun. We're just shooting as we go and learning as we go. And so there were times in the video you can see, and I tried to cut them out a little bit. I didn't want some of the shots to be too jarring, but there were times when the violin player would be playing and suddenly the violin player would stop playing for like 10 seconds and then the camera operator would have to try and find someone else who was playing to fill up that gap. Otherwise, you just have the violin player sitting there for 10 minutes, for 10 measures, just like this. And then after 10 measures, then they pick up and then they start playing again. So there were things that entirely falls on me again. I should have prepped the camera operator and said, you know, this is what's going to happen at this time point. And I should have given them like a stopwatch so they can see at the 3-minute mark, we're going here. At the 3-minute, 30-second mark, it's probably best to look over here. At the 4-minute mark, over here. And then we do a slow push out, and then we fade to black. I think there were things with me, I know there were things with me as both a producer and conductor and trying to like, you know, and the composer and trying to get it all going. Like the production coordinator kind of getting it all. There were so many moving parts that the only way I was going to learn this is if I fell flat on my face, and the only way I was going to reinforce it is if I uploaded the video that was imperfect. I showed myself, you know, messing up, and then reinforce it today, taking notes on how I could have improved. So that's the other thing. There were other things too. I have notes here. There were other things too about scheduling issues. One of the things that got me was I didn't realize how in over my head I was. I thought it was simple. Let's set up a tripod. You know, just like, you know, Scott Bradley would set up, you know, a camera on a tripod. It doesn't move. It's not overly produced. It's just a one-shot video. Let's just set up a camera with a tripod and get 4 musicians in Philadelphia, and let's just get going. And it got, not that it got out of hand. I like the way we did it, and I'm glad in hindsight that we did it that way. I do think if it were originally just a tripod shot and me conducting, that I don't think the tripod shot works well in that regard. And the more that I spoke to the production team before we recorded, a couple weeks before, the tripod shot doesn't work for the main reason that when I'm conducting on a tripod, or if the camera's here on a tripod, or if it's your view, your perspective to me, if I'm conducting, then all you see the whole time is my back. And the way that it works well with Scott Bradley is that the vocalist is facing the camera. The action is in front of the camera. With me, the action is the other way around. The action is me conducting. Now, I can turn the tripod the other way so you see me conducting, but now you got the violin players, now you're looking at their back. And it just doesn't work. You can do a 3/4 shot or a side shot, so it's me conducting like this, and then you see the violin players this way. I think that might have probably worked. But you know, you gotta pick one idea. You can't shoot 3 different versions of it. Like, you can't shoot the tripod shot and then go back and try it with the group on the other shot. It's just, the cameras are set up. You gotta, 3 days before the shoot, you gotta plan the shoot, you gotta stick to it, and then it's signed, sealed, and delivered. And then we all show up, and then we just stick to the schedule. At 10 o'clock, we're shooting this song. At 10:15, we're shooting this song. At 10:30, we're shooting this song. And so there were a lot of mistakes that I think make me better. Well, not I think. I know make me better. And the next one's going to be way better. The other thing that also got to me, too, is I think doing... I keep referencing Scott Bradley, but I think he does the best of that concept, the one-shot video. I think he's the best in the world at that. You know, I mean, you can say anyone can upload a video. Anyone in the world can upload a one-shot video, and I get that. But I just think the way that he goes about it is just the upload schedule, the way that it's shot, the camera view that he uses. The reason why I'm going on a rant, but the reason why I think that works well for him is because when you have lyrics, when you're singing lyrics, you're automatically, I think, every second, every frame, you're, as a consumer, my eyes are itchy. You know what? There's so much like pollen and stuff. Sorry. When you're recording a song with lyrics, each lyric, each sentence, each phrase, I think, gets you to the next phrase. With an instrumental, non-lyrical violin piece where I'm conducting, I don't think someone would watch that for 5 minutes unless there were some kind of camera movements. And that really got to me too. I started thinking, like, between the side view conducting versus kind of like the front view or even the back view, or the like the 2 camera operator view, I kept thinking that the side view would just not work well. And you know, maybe we'll try that in a couple weeks. It would be a lot more affordable to shoot, that's for sure. Because you would just shoot it on sticks. You would just put it on tripods. You would just shoot. But then there's just things that the problem with that is that I think that a big visual element to this is that I can show the sheet music, right? I think there's something beautiful about some of the close-up shots being the music. I mean, it's the way that the notes look on paper is visually, to me, I just think it looks like a piece of art, like just these little black dots with these little stems, and it almost looks like hieroglyphics. So you can't do that if you shoot it on a tripod because it's just the camera's there. So part of it was I wanted to get these close-up shots of the beautiful violins playing and the over-the-shoulder shots of the sheet music and the camera spins and the slow push-outs and push-ins and seeing the faces on the players and me conducting. I think there's a lot there that we can improve upon. But anyway, without going past like the probably 20-minute mark, I'm going to wrap this up. But I just wanted to say is that those are the things that I learned. Those are my thoughts on the video. I'm going to upload new thoughts tomorrow about some other things that I was thinking about. But for the most part, that was it. I want to start making this a daily vlog of, which is what I was doing before. But I won't go into the whole thing. But so this is just, oh my goodness, this eye. You know what? The point number 10 is going to be stay away from pollen. That's going to be my point. But okay, so that's it. Those are the things that I learned. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep being embarrassed and messing up in front of everyone, and keep improving. And this all is possible because you obviously have been with me for, what is it now, 8 years, 9 years? Has it been that long? It's, what is it, 2017 now? I started in 2009, so it's been 8 years old. I started my music lesson show where I taught guitar and piano on YouTube. That was about 2007. That went pretty well. But then 2009, I started this orchestra thing. So it's the end of MIDI. I want to start using real instruments, and I want to start making real mistakes, because MIDI is all fake mistakes. Because what happens is that if you mess up on MIDI, you can edit it before you upload, and then everything sounds perfect. With this, you're in it, You mess up, it's on video, and that song's going up. And I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. I think it gets a little bit, I mean, there is some level of editing that's involved. I mean, you don't want to just upload you, messing up the whole time. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Tomorrow I'm going to talk more about some like the frame rate issues that I was thinking about, and maybe some other things that we can do to improve upon that. And maybe I'll show some of my music so that I can go through that on like what went wrong, what went right there. So that's it. All right, I'm going to try and end this at the 18th minute mark, so I got 4 seconds. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll put the Patreon links below, and subscribe, and let's keep chatting, and let's keep messing up. I think this is cool. So thanks for being there along the way. Let's see, look, I'm past the 18-minute mark. But, okay, I love you guys. I'll see you. Peace.